Please be seated for tonight's talk. Sit facing the teacher so you can make eye contact. And we'll recite the... Okay, is that on? You can't hear me? Yeah?
I'd like to encourage folks to come closer or move in such a way that you can see. I'm not sitting on a chair right now, so I'm a little lower. So feel free to move so that you can see me.
Gata on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
So good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for choosing to be here together. It's nice to see some of the new Jukai members in attendance, starting to put some mileage on that fresh new Roxu. Very good. I encourage, when you go, the community just went through a very intensive formation, 20-week program. We had some 22 initiates persist through that, and then there was a week-long intensive retreat that's culminated in an initiation and empowerment called Jukai, wherein certain folks take upon the fall of refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and receiving a Dharma name and the Roxu, which is one of these funny bib things. And it's a big deal. And I'm sure you've experienced the whoa and then the whoa. There is a skill that has to do with learning how to deal with retreat and how to wield retreat so that you can I remember in the beginning of my training, retreat was like this just completely otherworldly mental state that I would get into. I'm just sitting there focusing on my breath, but to be that concentrated and to be that present was such a alien experience to my ordinary life that there was a wide gap between daily life and what would happen at retreat. And happily, what happens over time is that gap closes, so that one is actually substantively grounded pretty much all the time, or at least more often than not, and that the wild swings that can happen don't really anymore. So just a note of encouragement, enjoy the ride while you can, but it does even out. Tonight, I'd like to bring forward the Blue Cliff Record Case 66. This one will probably take a little unpacking, but hey, that's what we're here to do. So let's check it out. Introduction. Meeting a situation head-on and setting a pitfall for a tiger. Attacking from the front and attacking from the side. Laying out strategy to capture a bandit. Adopting in light and adopting in darkness. Letting both go or gathering both in. Knowing how to handle a dead snake. These are all matters for adepts. The main case. Master Ganto asked a monk, "Where are you coming from?" The monk said, "From the western capital." Master Ganto said, "After that rebel Koso passed through there, did you pick up his sword?" The monk said, "I did." Ganto approached with his neck outstretched and hollered, "Ha!" The monk said, "The master's head has fallen," wherein Ganto roared with laughter. Later, this very same monk went to Seppo, old Master Seppo, and Seppo asked him, "Where are you coming from?" The monk said, "From Master Ganto." Seppo asked, "Well, what did he say?" The monk told the foregoing story, spelled it all out, and then Seppo hit him 30 times with his staff and drove him out. Commentary. He picked up the sword after the rebel had passed. One has to be an adept to recognize the roar of this laughter. 30 blows of the mountain cane is still getting off lightly. To take advantage is to lose the advantage. So I'm fairly confident that most of that would be somewhat odd sounding, but it won't be. Just chill for a minute. To understand what's going on here, a few sort of precautions I think are in order. A koan, which this is a public case, and that means that it's pointing to a reality that is exactly the same for every one of us. There is no personal, unique, applies only to some special other type of person in a koan. A koan means it's all of us. So it's important to realize that. Now, the koan itself starts with this long list of perhaps very quizzical and odd sayings. But what these actually are these are descriptions of the mind of the awakened master. And to get some insight into this, I'd like to draw from the letters of Master Tao Hui. This is a different teacher, and he's writing a letter to one of his students, which we have. I think it sets us up nicely to understand a bit more. The letter says, "A sudden leap." He's writing to one of his lay students in the world. He says, generally, those who have been overly involved in worldly affairs for a long time have been stuck like glue in the afflictions of the senses. Generally, those who have been overly involved in worldly affairs for a very long time have been stuck like glue to the afflictions of the senses. It's very core Buddhist teaching that the cause of suffering has to do with the way that we encounter and negotiate with our sense perceptions. Hot, cold, loud, quiet, like, dislike, neutral. The letter continues, when unexpectedly it happens that someone instructs this person to do some meditation in a quiet place, they temporarily get a feeling of unconcern. They immediately take this as the ultimate in peace and happiness. When people who are very involved in busy lives, me, perhaps you, sit down in a quiet place and do some meditation, then they enter a state of unconcern. And this temporary state of unconcern, they take to be the ultimate in peace and happiness. But they are far from realizing that this quiescent unconcern is like a rock pressing down on the grass. Though for a time they become aware that the mental afflictions are cut off, nevertheless, the root and branches are still there. So the image of a rock sitting on the grass seems to make the grass go away, but actually it's still there. The roots are there, and it'll keep growing, right? So the master is saying that just settling down a little bit, and even having like fits and starts where you forget the woes of the world for a minute, don't be satisfied. There's more to it than simply escaping or being uncaring. In fact, the further we look into the life of the bodhisattva, we see a person that is deeply compassionate and deeply engaged in the world, but deeply engaged in the world as a free person, not as someone who is stuck like glue to the afflictions. In this way, the bodhisattva is able to actually affect things in the world that same person, when they're stuck in the senses, is simply unable to do. I mean, if you enter a situation and your primary concern is, how am I looking here? What are they thinking of me? What am I thinking of me? What's in this for me? What are they trying to do to me? I mean, all of these concerns, well, they kind of get in the way. Would any of us consider a parent, let us say, of a new child who approached the crib of their infant with such concerns to be a good parent? What are you doing? Pick up the kid, right? Happily, most folks, though not all, get that moment. It's as we grow up, we become a little more fussy, a little harder to deal with, arguably. Though for a time they become aware that the sense trap is cut off, nevertheless, the root and branches are still there. When will they experience quiescent extinction to the full? And don't be tricked by quiescent extinction. This is not nihilism. This is vibrant activity, which he goes on to say. If you want to have the real quiescent extinction, the real, gets your Zen on, it's become co-opted by the culture to mean be chill, But if you really want to get centered and calm and really be free from all of this push and pull and apathy, then You must make a sudden leap within the fire of birth and death. You must make a sudden leap within the fires of life and death, and leap out without moving a hair's breadth. In other words, this leap doesn't have to do with jumping. There's some other kind of leap that's being pointed to here, and it's inside the fire and the ice, in the being smothered by others and being desperately alone, and everything in between. Within the fires of birth and death, and leap without moving a hair's breadth. Then you'll turn rivers into pure ghee. Ghee, which is like the most refined butter, right? All the solids are gone. It's good stuff. The wife makes it. It's nice. You'll turn the rivers into pure ghee and the earth into gold. Faced with situations, you'll be free to release or to capture, to kill or to bring life. No device to benefit others or to benefit yourself will be impossible. So sometimes folks come into the temple and, have very stressful lives or challenges or just interesting curiosity. What is this stuff, And it's easy to kind of mistake what's going on and think, well, gee, all the people are just sitting there being quiet. It must be about being quiet. It's good to be quiet for a time, but it's not about just having a little temporary escape. This isn't really the kind of thing where you come here, and it might seem this way for a while, and if it does, it's okay, but ultimately, this is not coming and escaping the problems of your life, charging your battery back up so you can go out there and fight some more. It's really something quite a bit better than that. It's about finding your freedom within the challenges and the joys, the elations and the sorrows, and the sort of neutral planes of meh. So, what would it look like if a person was free to release, capture, kill, bring life, and had any device to benefit themselves and others within the fires of life and death? How might that look? What might a picture be? Well, such a person would be able to shown to be meeting a situation head on. Meeting a situation head on and setting a pitfall for a tiger. In the ancient times, a tiger is like a tank. You're not going to win. If you're seeing a tiger, it's too late. It's a fearsome thing in the culture within which this comes. So meeting a situation head on and setting a pitfall for a tiger is like serious stuff. Life and death stuff. It's not just poetic flourish. What would it look like, this great leap without leaping? This something beyond a moment of quiet and escape. It might look like meeting a situation head on and setting a trap for a tiger. It might look like attacking from the front and from the side at the same time. Does that sound like quiescent uncaring? It's something else. Laying out strategy to capture a bandit. Well, isn't the whole point to just sit there and be chill? What is all this about tigers and traps and bandits and strategy? Because in the fires of life and death, shit gets real. And you have to decide what you're going to do. Yeah. What are you going to do? Time keeps marching, right? And I'm not going to tell you, just sit there and don't care about anything. That doesn't cut it, man. Not even close. Adapting in light, and adapting in darkness? Can you move freely in the light? For some, the light is intuitive. For some, the light is horrifying. Can you move freely in the dark? For some, the dark is terrifying. For some, it's a relief. You need to be free in both. Letting both go or gathering both in, knowing how to handle a dead snake. These are matters for adepts. And what we'll see now is that this is a playbook of what's happening in this exchange, you see. The main case. Ganto asked a monk, "Where are you coming from?" Those phrases back here, meeting a situation head on and setting a pitfall for a tiger. It's called a capping phrase. Did you know that? It's a capping phrase. It's a saying that contains some insight into what's happening there. Where are you coming from? When a Zen master asks you a question, it might seem innocuous. Maybe it is, but it doesn't have to be. And it's not always. It's a test. Perhaps. Where are you coming from? Is that just like a, "Hey, how you doing?" Well, that could be, depending what's behind it, a koan too. But in this case, old master Ganto asks a monk, "Where are you coming from?" And the monk says, "From the Western capital." "Where'd you come from?" "Oh, I came here from Sylvania. East side." "Oh, okay." That's not quite hitting the mark. I can tell you that the mind that's made this leap is able to perceive things in a little bit of a different way. Where are you coming from? He says, "The Western capital." Could have done better. But old Master Ganto is quite generous. He says, "So, after that rebel Koso passed through there, did you pick up his sword?" Now that, you would have no idea what that is. That is a cultural moment. There was this dude, Koso, who was a rebel, and he was a sword maker. And he claims that he saw a sword drop down from the heavens, and on the blade it said, "This is Koso's blade." Either he found it from the heavens or he made it, who knows. But he claimed it was dropped from the heavens, and with this heavenly sword, he led a rebellion and actually took over the place. It was like a big deal. It was all over the news. Everybody was talking about it. So it was a current event of the time. "Oh, you were from the Western capital. So when that Soko passed through there, did you grab his sword?" Did I grab his sword? Again, Ganto is making a little sharper prompt with this monk. Because he's doing what a Zen teacher is doing. He's trying to help this great leap happen. The great leap doesn't happen just by sitting there all the time. You sit there and you build up samadhi and you build up concentration, and then there has to be some kind of a catalyzing, like something. If you study how awakening happens, that's what you see, right? When you sit, the quiescent stillness is a temporary mental state that is necessary but not sufficient to awakening. You will not come to awakening if you are tethered to your sense perceptions just on face value all the time. I like it, I don't like it, I don't care about it. And just bounce back and forth between those three all the time. Guaranteed. If you map your life that way, you are steering your Titanic ship directly into a sea of icebergs. Promise. if you can settle down, then you stop getting pulled around by those things so much. They're still there. You know, I prefer John Coltrane's music. You might prefer someone else's music. That's fine. But no suffering, no clinging, no running. But once the samadhi is coming along, there needs to be a catalyzing something. Like, for example, a Zen master asking you, where are you coming from? This koan could have gone a very different way. Alas, from the Western capital. Just in the normal day-to-day still, okay. So tell me, after that rebel Koso passed through there, did you grab his sword? The monk said, I did. Well, so Ganto then holds out his neck like this and yells, ah! And attacks him, like runs at him. Like, cut my head off. Exactly. What? But you see, when that leap happens, I liken it to someone who's a dive instructor, you know? I've never really scuba dived or anything, but I can imagine, because I've known people who have, that if you're a really good scuba instructor, you can tell how far down the student's gone. Well, what did you see down there? Well, it was this and that. Oh, okay. Well, keep going. Or a cave explorer, someone who knows those caves like the back of their hand. The young adventurer it's all new. Oh my God, what's going on? But the old hand knows exactly where the caves are and where the paintings are and where the big stalactite is, and right? It was kind of like that. The teacher is saying, what did you see? Show me your mind. It's a little bit underneath the language. There's something underneath the language that's happening here. Unfortunately, this monk keeps just like not getting it. A shining example to us all. So again, Ganto asked the monk, where are you coming from? Oh, I just came from the Western capital. Oh, isn't that where that rebel Soko with that magic sword is? Did you grab his sword? Yeah, I did. At that, the monk says, the master's head has fallen. Words, words, words. Oh, so much talk. Isn't it bothersome? Still? Are you still trapped in your language box? Really? Here's an opportunity to play with the language of dragons, and you're still playing putt-putt. What are you doing? And so old Ganto just starts laughing and laughing and laughing. But what's interesting is I think the monk doesn't understand even that he doesn't understand. He doesn't. Now, Seppo is kind of like Ganto's other half. They kind of do this a lot. You'll see in the literature. One will be Seppo's student, they'll send him over to Ganto, and then they go back and forth, and it works. They had a nice thing going, really. So this monk, anyway, then, you know, his ears filled with Ganto's laughter, he continues to travel, and he comes to Seppo. And then Seppo asks him, where are you coming from? See, dragons all speak the same language. They can all understand each other. They didn't send a text. Hey, this monk is coming at you. Ask him where he came from, dude. Yo. Like, no. They're just doing their job, and they're both really well trained. They knew what they were doing. And this is a monk, right? This is a person who's probably on a pilgrimage, earnestly seeking awakening. They're not just some, like, uncaring, whatever. There's somebody, they're all in. They're trying to do this. And these teachers are really being incredibly generous and they're really trying to be very helpful. Whether it's apparent or not to the young monk, it's hard to say. So he goes to Seppo further on his pilgrimage, and Seppo asks him, "Where are you coming from?" Did he learn? Apparently not. "Oh, I came from Ganto's place." Funny you should ask. He asked the same thing. Well, what did he say? And the monk relayed the whole story. Well, he asked where I was coming from. I told him I'm from the Western capital. And he said, "Oh, did you grab the Koso's sword?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And he did this weird thing. He kind of leapt at me with his neck. I don't know what that was, but I said, "Oh, the master's head is off." And he just laughed at me. So I think I'm cool. That was neat. I don't know what it was, but yeah. That was some Zen shit right there. And you can tell that there was a little bit of him thinking he had it going on by what Seppo does. Because he relates this story, and between the lines and with the camping phrases, if you recall, setting a trap for a tiger and attacking from the left and the right, two teachers, attacking from the front and from the side. They're working together, trying to trap a bandit, someone who's trying to steal it even though they don't know. Ultimately here, working with a dead snake. That's this monk. What do you do? What do you do? What are you going to do? 30 blows with a stick. Get out, get out. And even those blows with the stick are a generous invitation to awakening. They really are. Somebody wanders in here. It happens every now and then. Someone thinks they're enlightened. So I'll engage with them for a little bit. Usually it's pretty clear that they're not pretty clear. Or they've had a nice experience, but now they're trapped by it. That's not it. And in Seppo's case, he decided to drive this person out. Again, that too is a grandmotherly, caring attempt to help. Meeting a situation head-on and setting a pitfall for a tiger, attacking from the front and from the side, laying out a strategy to capture a bandit, adapting in light and adapting in darkness, letting both go or gathering both in, knowing how to handle a dead snake. These are matters for an adept. Generally, those who have been overly involved in worldly affairs for a long time have been stuck like glue in the afflictions of the senses. So much so that when it unexpectedly happens that they actually settle down for a minute and meditate, they get a feeling of unconcern, hard-won and well-earned. And you need to understand that feeling in a healthy way. But then they immediately take this as the ultimate. And it is not. That is not the ultimate freedom. It is a temporary escape. They are far from realizing the truth, that this is like a rock pressing down on the grass. Though for a time they become aware that the afflictions are cut off, nevertheless, the root and branches are still there. When will they experience the true quiescent extinction, the true equanimity? When will they really live the truth of their life freely and fully? If you really want to live authentically, you must make a sudden leap within the fires of birth and death. Where are you from? What do you do? What brought you here? Is this your first time? And leap without moving a hair's breadth. Then you'll turn the rivers into ghee and earth into gold. Like these two teachers, they're using everything at hand, everything they can put their hands on, everything they can imaginally conjure. They're trying to help this monk
swords and sticks and geolocations. Where are you from? Faced with situations, you'll be free to release or to capture, to kill or bring life. No device to benefit others or to benefit yourself will be impossible. No device to benefit others or to benefit yourself will be out of range. That's called upaya. The bodhisattva is able to use means that meet the moment. Sometimes it's a roar, sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's disappearing altogether. Sometimes it's bolstering up, sometimes it's pulling out the rug from underneath. It depends. It depends what's necessary to help beings to awaken, to find their own true lives and to live them authentically. Seppo asked him, "Where are you coming from?" The monk said, "From Ganto." Seppo asked, "What did he say?" The monk told the whole sad story. And Seppo hit him 30 blows with a staff and drove him out. May each of us find that great leap. If you enjoy your meditation practice, that's nice. I'm happy for you. Don't worry, though. Eventually, it'll be a pain in your ass. If you just can't stand it, good for you. You're awake. You're alive. Excellent. But don't make a nest out of that. Don't cling to that either. Don't make a thing out of that. If it just seems like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah, I get it. Don't worry about it. Let yourself settle. You've got to settle. You've got to fill the seat like a mountain. But you can't live there. That world out there is waiting for you to come back. And whatever the world is that you're going back to, no one can go back to that world but you. I cannot. Buddha cannot. Tara cannot. Manjushri cannot. Kuan Yin cannot. Only you are the Buddha of your life. No one else. So give yourself the gift. Settle. And then don't be surprised if you hang around the barber shop long enough, you get a haircut. You hang around the temple long enough, and you start getting engaged with things, and maybe you do a little retreat here and there, and you come to a little sitting, and you get your sitting practice going. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden this great leap comes upon you. It's kind of an accident, really, but sitting does make us accident prone. And there's a lot of accident catalyzers here. So, good luck. May it be so.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Welcome to folks visiting for the first time. Are there any announcements? Nope, just mine. Sangha circles will be starting up for Fall Ango. These are small groups that get together in people's homes. Look for your email to get information about that. And if you haven't tried one, do it. They're really fun.
So the Saturday, is it working?
Is it on?
It's on. Okay. Saturday, the 26th, we're having our Home Hermitage Day. You should have got an email about it. The event is also on the Temple Facebook page. This is for, it was specifically designed for distance members, but all members are invited to participate. It's online, not at the temple. There will be 3 online check-in points. The times are on the website or on the Facebook page. But it's basically practicing however you want to practice. You can go for a walk in the woods. You can sit at Zazen. You actually engage this yourself in whatever makes sense for you, with you and your family, and with your circumstance. So if you're interested, please look at the details. And there is a registration, so just fill out that form so we have an idea of how many people we're going to have. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Tomorrow night, we are hosting Equity Toledo Multi-Faith Pride event. I think it's at 7?
I think so.
7 here at the temple. And honestly, I don't know a great deal about it, but everybody is welcome to attend.
Anything else? Please restore the Zendo.